Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are taking a look at yet another Kanto Pokemon. We love Kanto Pokemon and Shadow Pokemon on this channel. We are going to be testing out possibly the spiciest team I've ever run. So the Pokemon that we are going to be featuring today is Shadow Golduck. I did originally try this out of Water Gun and it wasn't very good. I thought I'd try it out with Confusion because at least then it hits back at some of its counters because there's a lot of grass poison types in the meta. It also has a better matchup against opposing water types, especially the really annoying Politoad and Swampert. Its team partners today are going to be the two Poison Boys. I've never paired Kanto Mach, which is quickly becoming one of my favourite Pokemon, and the original OG favourite of the channel, not Cradilly, as that isn't a poison type, and what about Drapion? However, I've only ever used Drapion on the safe switch. In this team comp, we're going to be leading Shadow Drapion, and because we are so weak to Swampert and Galarian Stunfisk, I'm going to be running it with Aqua Tail. I normally run it with Sludge Bomb. So to run through the team, we've got Shadow Drapion in the lead running Poison Sting, Aqua Tail and Crunch. We're going to have the Shadow Golduck running Confusion, Cross Chop and Ice Beam. And we're going to have the Kanto Mach with Poison Jab, Thunder Punch and Dark Pulse. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. We will be leading our Shadow Drapion for the duration of this video, and it essentially functions as part of a stay-in strat, as it's only weak to ground, and the most common ground types are Stunfisk and Swampert, which we will hit with Aqua Tail. So, in this first matchup, we pick up a lead against the Alolan Mach. This is a pretty neutral matchup, as we both are hitting each other for resisted damage with our quick moves, and the only charge move that I've got that can hit him for neutral damage, is Aqua Tail, which is a pretty terrible move. So the Mach goes for Sludge Wave. Even resisted, it is a great move, does hit us fairly hard. We are just going to be spamming out these Aqua Tails. Due to the team comp being pretty weak to a lot of things, I am really wanting to win switch, as alignment is going to be key. So the Mach doesn't shield, so I'm going to be able to shield this next move up. I'm going to over farm and I'm going to throw my charge move on their third Snarl just before they get to a Dark Pulse. That's 2, that's 3. We'll fire it off here. I didn't go for one more as I'm unsure who wins CMP. So we take out the Mach and in comes an Empoleon. This is pretty bad for our team, as obviously Steel does resist Confusion and Poison. So we fire off this Crunch, which does quite a lot of damage, and we switch into our Mach. The opponent is staying in, which could mean they've probably got a Grass type in the back. We allow this Hydro Cannon to come through, as I know I'll be able to outpace him to 2 Thunder Punches. So we're either going to grab both shields or we're going to take them out. First Thunder Punch comes through, does grab the shield. With a sliver of health, we manage to get to this second Thunder Punch. We'll see if the opponent wants to shield again. The opponent does shield. We're going to wait out a switch time. We're going to bring in the Golduck. The opponent throws one more fast move and they do switch into a Venusaur. So like we said at the start of the video, this is why we're running Confusion. We are both hitting each other for super effective. You can see even non-stab, these Confusions are really chunking. As they get to their 5th Vine Whip, one short of the next Frenzy Plant, we are going to fire off this Cross Chop, which is resisted, but with only a sliver of health is enough to come through. Opponent has a charge move ready. I'm hoping we do survive, which we do, and we now have the energy required for another Cross Chop. And this Cross Chop is going to be enough to clutch out game 1. So you can see there that Shadow Golduck come in key. It countered both a Steel type, which is resisting its fast move, and a Grass type. So we're off to a 1-0 start. So, we now pick up a lead against a Abomasnow. Usually we love to see this with Drapion, as I always run Sludge. However, as we're running Aqua Tail this time, we'd only be able to hit him for neutral crunches. The opponent switches out into a Gyarados. So I hit him with a Crunch and then I look to switch out. We switch into Golduck, who would resist Aqua Tail, so they're going to have to go for Crunches, and I do believe they'll only make 1. So we let this Crunch come through. You can see it does a lot of damage, as Golduck isn't that bulky, even as an XL. However, we are going to be able to commit to the farm down. Back up comes the Abomasnow. We've only got a sliver of health, but we do resist Powder Snow. So we're going to get off back-to-back Cross Chops. This first one comes through and does around 33%. The second one comes through and I imagine they're going to have to start shielding. We do draw a shield and we get off another Confusion, which really chunks them down. We now have switch advantage and shield advantage. So Like I said earlier, Drapion doesn't have the best matchup running Aqua Tail. So we now switch this lead matchup and we bring in our second poison type, as these poison jabs do really chunk. The Abomasnow is loaded full of energy, so we're going to have to start shielding ourselves. We'll shield this next move up and we expect him to switch out. The opponent isn't switching out, so I'm quite confused. They must have something really in the back that doesn't want to see this Kanto mark. Opponent switches out into a talonflame. I'm going to fire off this Thunder Punch, which is going to draw a shield. And now I look to switch into Drapion. Drapion is just 2 poison stings short of the Aqua Tail, so we managed to hit him with an Aqua Tail. They are now going to have to hit us with a Brave Bird to take us out, as Flame Charge will not be enough. However, if they did Brave Bird us, we'd be able to poison jab them down and take the game. So Drapion survives with a sliver of health. We manage to get his Aqua Tail to take out the Talonflame. 1 Powder Snow takes out our Drapion. And then 1 poison jab will take the game. So Kanto Muck there putting in a lot of work. GG's to that opponent. And we're off to a 2-0 start. Golduck also put in a lot of work, completely confusing down the Gyarados and drawing a shield from the Abomasnow. So Golduck is seeming like it does have play in this meta. So moving on into game 3, we pick up a lead against the Gyarados. These Dragon Breaths do really start to shred us, however we are a lot quicker to our charge moves. We overfarm heavily and we allow this first Aqua Tail to come through. We'll fire off this Crunch, which will do around 50% health. The opponent doesn't shield and we are going to outpace him to this next charge move. So now I'm going to leave it up to the opponent whether they want to take switch at the cost of a shield. They actually let it go down. And they bring in yet another Empoleon. I switch out as I'm going to get farmed down without reaching a move into the Kanto mark. The opponent is firing off a charge move. I'm going to let it come through. And the opponent is still staying in and they switch out into an Escavalier. Escavalier is not great for us as we are resisting counter. However, we can't really hit him for anything other than our charge moves. Our poison jabs are resisted due to the steel bug typing. They managed to counter us down, which is terrible. They've now got loads of energy. We are now going to have to come in with our Golduck and try and confusion this thing down. The first charge move is coming through. I don't shield it in case they acid spray us. It is a drill run, which does do around 60%. I am now going to have to start shielding. We'll shield up another drill run, so it looks like they haven't got acid spray, which is great for us. And resisted confusions do manage to fast move farm down. So back up comes the Empoleon. We've got back-to-back cross chops. I'm going to have to try and draw both shields. The opponent doesn't shield the first one, but they will definitely shield this next one up, as it would take them out. I am going to get farmed down. We need to survive 1 waterfall, which we're unable to do, and we're not able to reach the Crunch. So unfortunately we lose that matchup. However, the team composition was not favourable and we was only 1 fast move away from getting the win. So you can see there the team, even against unfavourable team comps, we got double steel against double poison and we was only 1 fast move away from getting the dub. So GG's to that opponent and we're off to a 2-1 start. So let's see if we can get back to winning ways in game 4 of the set. We managed to pick up a dreadful lead against Shadow Machamp. These counters do hit for heavy neutral damage, so we switch out into our Kanto Muck and we're met with a Drifblim. This Drifblim hasn't got a great matchup against Kanto Muck, but it's obviously got an even worse matchup against the Drapion. So I can see why they switched it in. However, they are going to struggle to win back switch. The opponent doesn't even build to the Shadow Ball, so they're only going for Icy Winds, trying to debuff us. However, we are going to outpace to a Thunder Punch. The opponent doesn't shield, and we actually win back switch. Again, the opponent brings out the Machamp. They are going to have to throw some energy as they're going to be unable to counter us down. They fire a Cross Chop, and now we bring in Golduck. Obviously, these confusions are hitting for heavy damage. They have an Abomasnow in the back, so I bank a Cross Chop and I switch out into Drapion. I do believe now that Golduck with shields is the win condition. We overfarm and we're going to go for this Crunch. Let's see if we draw a shield. We do draw a shield. A Shadow Abomasnow really doesn't want to take a move. I'm now going to go for this Aqua Tail. We're going to see if the opponent wants to shield again, which they do. They are going to have to throw some energy or they're going to hit with another move. Unfortunately, I did try and go for the Crunch. I was 1 poison sting short. We have this Cross Chop ready and loaded, which is enough to take out the Abomasnow. And Golduck with 2 shields is more than enough to take out the Machamp, so they surrender. So you can see there, Golduck once again coming in clutch. Moving on into the last game of the set. Let's see if we can clutch out a 4-1. We pick up a lead against a talonflame. They do 2 incinerates and they switch out. They switch into a Kingdra. So we're going to fire off this crunch as we've got a lot of excess energy, and we bring in our second poison type. We've seen in previous videos that this Kanto Mark has a great matchup here. We go for this Thunder Punch, hoping it would have KO'd. Unfortunately it doesn't. However, Kanto Mark is quite fixed. We're going to be able to survive this outrage and maintain switch. Opponent brings back in Talonflame. They're now at a move. So I'm going to wait out my switch timer and we're going to bring in Golduck. The opponent fires immediately. So I'm almost 100% sure that it's going to be a flame charge, which is resisted. And now you can see these confusions are really chunking this Talonflame. We CMP tie to the cross chop, so I'm going to shield this next move up and I expect to gain a shield back in return. I like the CMP tie here as I don't want to let through any unnecessary incinerates. Like I said, a lot of people don't know what Golduck runs, so they shield up a resisted cross chop, and in the back is a Snorlax. I fire off a cross chop. I'm one confusion short of the next one. I didn't want to switch out into Drapion because I would have had to use a shield fearing an earthquake. So they dump their energy back into Drapion. I'm hoping this crunch is going to be enough. I would normally sludge bomb from this range. Unfortunately, crunch doesn't quite hard enough. So just before they get to a body slam, I'm going to fire off this aqua tail. I can't imagine the opponent will shield on 1 HP. And now it's going to be a race. We're going to see, we need to get to 2 charge moves before they do. And Drapion's Poison Sting energy generation is insane. It has access to the quickest charge move out of anyone. It ties with both Flygon and Politoad. And you can see there we beat the Talonflame to the back-to-back moves and we clutch out a 4-1. So that's a 4-1 set with a double poison Shadow Golduck strat. I'd probably say that is the spiciest team I've ever run, and we was actually only 1 fast move away from going a perfect 5-0. Would I recommend this team? Absolutely not, as it is definitely very RPS. There's just going to be some team comps you aren't going to be able to handle. However, would I recommend Shadow Golduck? Yes, I do believe it has some great play. You can see that it handles things like Talonflame and the Shadow Machamp with no problem. Handles opposing water types. The really annoying Politoad and Swampert are no match for Golduck. So perhaps it is something you could build and look to run and have some fun with. So, if you enjoyed this type of content, I'd really appreciate if you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you've got any requests on Shadow Pokemon you'd like to see, post it in the comment section down below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.